You have tuned in to Seattle Connected, the show that connects you with entrepreneurs, business people, movers and shakers in our community, letting you know who they are first. I said first, and I mean first, before they become household names, which we know they soon will be. Today with me, my guest today, the hottest show online. I just had to say that again because I have the best guest. But anyway, my guest, she wants to not just say hello. She wants to say, hey, she wants to make sure that you're in the loop of what's going on in your community for those who look like you, think like you, act like you, and they want to give you love because they support you. Yes, this multi-talented woman has taken time out of her busy schedule to come grace us with her presence. It is a blessing to have her in the room. The award-winning Miss Hey Black Seattle, Kiesha Garrison. How's it going?
It's going great.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for that intro.
Okay.
I was like cheesing the whole time.
Was it okay?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I aim to do every time.
Hey,
Black Seattle.
Hey.
What's up?
I love it. Hey, fellow Black person.
Yes, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too. This is a joy. This is really a joy.
Thank you, man. I was really excited to do this. We've been talking about this for a minute, and we wanted to make sure that it was done right. So we give the people a good show, and let's start from your humble beginnings.
Rewind the tape.
Yes, come on now. So, Miss Kiesha, are you from here?
I am not from here.
Oh,
I am
wow.
not. I like to say I'm freshly planted, not deeply rooted like you. So I grew up in Louisiana. That's where I had my childhood. It's a small town called Oakdale in the center of the state in central Louisiana.
Okay.
So I was a little girl growing up in a deeply racially, it was kind of socially segregated. It's a community that really fought against integration. So I had one of those spicy Southern Black upbringings where you had to kind of, I dreamt a lot of leaving, we'll put it that way.
Gotcha.
Good community, good food, but definitely a bit of a hostile environment for Black folks. So I left Louisiana, and then I went to college in Atlanta. Okay. So I was at Spelman College, did my whole econ major thing down there. And when I left college, I went to go grow up in New York. So I spent my 20s in New York and New Jersey. Did that. That was a good 11 years. Had a whole marriage and a child out there, and then packed everybody up about 10 years ago and moved to Seattle area for a job with Microsoft. They recruited me out here. So since 10 years ago, I've been living here.
Okay. Now, going back to Louisiana, I asked where, because my mom's side of the family is from Louisiana. They're from Baton Rouge. Okay. Yeah. So I remember going out there for a lot of summers, and it was very, very different atmosphere, very different atmosphere, but I see why a lot of people out there are, homegrown. They, treat you as such. Yeah. And they have an eye on you like, oh, okay. Let's make sure he's good. Like, I had a couple instances where some of the gentlemen in the area didn't know that I was my grandmother's son, and they see me out on the porch, and they was coming over to, we'll say, greet me. And then my grandma came out, and they, oh, okay, he's good. Yeah. We just want to make sure. And they were like, hey, your grandma's our grandma, and we just want, and I said, I appreciate you. That means a lot. And you said your early 20s, you were in New York and New Jersey. See, I was supposed to do that after I graduated high school, and we're about the same age, so we don't need to go through all that. But, I was supposed to do that. I was supposed to go to performing arts school out there. Oh, what happened? What ended up happening? I chickened out, man. I went through, life be lifing, but it was early, so it was a whole. We'll have to talk off camera, but yeah, I've gone out there a couple times, loved it. And when was the last time you went to New York?
It's been a couple of years. I used to go every year just to check in with a good friend of mine, a lot of good friends of mine that live in Brooklyn and Long Island. And my daughter, even though we left there when she was 3, I still wanted to go back so she would maintain some connection to her family that's out there, friends that are out there. But after the COVID times, my travel for personal life really slowed down. So I haven't gotten out there. So I miss my visits to New York and New Jersey.
Yeah, shout out to them. What part did you stay in?
So when I first moved there, I was living in Park Slope in Brooklyn, and then I moved across the waters to Jersey pretty quickly because I got engaged, and so I was in Irvington for a little bit, and then in Union, New Jersey for most of the time, and I was working in Manhattan, so doing that whole bus commute back and forth to New York and New Jersey, it was like an hour one way, and that life, I think, over time got really hard, and that made it, I think, really attractive when Microsoft came knocking, talking about, you want to move to Bellevue? And I was like, what's that? Yeah. Because Bellevue in New York is like a mental health facility. Or you hear the name Bellevue and it kind of sounds like a hotel or something, like you'll be staying at the Bellevue. So you're like, what the hell? They flew me out here. They flew me out here in like June, July for a little visit. Yeah. Like, come and visit and see what it's like. And I got here and I was like, this is the most beautiful place I've ever seen. Yeah. I was like, they've been keeping secrets from us over here in the South and in the East. This is gorgeous. And so then by that point, like my husband at the time, like he was, I think, ready. Like he was born and raised New York City. Gotcha. And so I think by that time he was also ready to try something new. Mm-hmm. And of course the baby girl, she 2-3, she don't get a vote. No. So we just pack her up and moved out here. Yeah. Or her vote is mom's vote. There it is. Yeah. There it is. So my baby is from here now. Like this is what she remembers. This is the life she knows. Mm-hmm. So when I take her back to Louisiana, she would kind of be like, why is everybody talking to me? Why are they all up on me like this? And I'm like, I be forgetting that you are growing up in a different energy than I grew up in. Like all the strangers talking to you a lot at the grocery store in Louisiana. My daughter be looking at them like, I'm gonna need 3 feet. Yeah. Yeah. So hold on. Is your mom still in Louisiana? Yep. Yeah, she was calling earlier. Yeah, Mama is there in Alexandria, Louisiana, but shout out to your mom. Shout out to my mom. Yeah, my mom be wearing her shout out the moms. Pamela Johnson wearing her Hey Black Seattle shirts in Alexandria, Louisiana, repping, loving on Black people from afar. Yes, you said Pamela. Pamela. Yeah, shout out to Miss Pamela. How you doing, Miss Pamela? She will appreciate that, Miss Pamela. Yeah, she is a beautiful woman, raised a beautiful daughter, and Miss Pamela, anytime you come up here, I got you. And anytime your daughter's not acting right, let me know. I still got you. I'll still be your friend. How you gonna be on my mama's side when you don't even? Okay, but we'll talk about that. That's smart. You always gotta be on the mama's side, no matter how old you are. I could be 75 years old. If your mama's still alive, she 106. I'm on her side. That's mama. I see how the game is played. Yes, and that's how I've been able to make it to my 40s and plus. Man, come on. You got to know the game. So, Miss Hey Black Seattle. Yeah. What was one of the, I would say, biggest, not changes, but one of the eye-opening things that you kind of, like, when you moved to Seattle, you were like, okay, this is a little different than New York or Louisiana. And it doesn't even have to be a negative thing. It could be positive or indifferent. Like, what was one of the things you were like, okay, this is different, or I might have to get used to this, or this is kind of interesting? The first impressions that I had when I moved out here were really good. I was like, this is the best life decision that I've made because, like I said, that commute that I was doing in New York and New Jersey, it was hard. It was hard on my body. It was hard on me as a mom, having to leave my child on a whole nother landmass to go to work. And when I got here, the way that things were set up, like I told you, we moved to Bellevue and I was working in Redmond. It was like a 12-minute drive to work. That was unheard of for me. And even driving around places and being able to park in a parking lot, it's just, I got hours of my life back. And with those hours, I was able to think about, like, how do I sort myself out now? I have time to actually think about the life I want to have. Because you don't think about how much the hustle and grind of moving around to get things done takes from your time to focus on yourself. So I had things to work out with my marriage. I had things to work out around hobbies and passions that I had put aside because of motherhood and because of how much work I was doing. And so I think that the time that I got back allowed me to just think a lot about who I wanted to be and what I wanted my life to look like. Now, over the course of those, this 10 years, what that has looked like has been well, me and my husband, we ended up getting divorced. And so we're friends now, but we decided, that wasn't necessarily the future path we wanted to be on. And I've since left Microsoft and completely shifted my whole working life. And I've gotten back to all my artistry. I got it all back.
Ooh. Do you know, I have a friend, Laquita Barnett. I don't know.
Yes.
You know her?
Yes.
Yeah?
Because I think we were at Microsoft at the same time.
That's why I threw that out there, man. Yeah.
I know what. That's LBK Customs, right?
Yeah, shout out to Laquita, man. That's my peoples. I had her daughter Kennedy on here.
I saw that episode.
You saw that?
Lovely interview.
Thank you. You watched the show.
I be watching.
Yes.
I don't be sitting down in a chair without knowing what's going on.
Come on, man. See, some people be fronting. Because I noticed that I've met people before where they'll say, hey, I had a friend who was on there, and I'm like, cool. And then I'll say, well, was there any other episodes you like? I'm not sure. And I'm like, yo, I got like 60 episodes now. Like, come on now. Like, but I appreciate the support. I appreciate everyone who supports. But Laquita, yeah, man, that's man, she's good people.
Again, what I want to do is with Hey Black Seattle is I love shouting out people who are doing things. And so LBK Customs, if you don't know, they will get your merch right. They will produce things for you, the bags, the cups, whatever it is you need. Yeah. Yeah,
they're good people. Shout out to them. You said you had to get back to your artistry. What's that about?
Oh, goodness. What you got? So I grew up being very creative. I love to write, to draw. I used to write plays and act in plays, and was singing in the choir, and I was doing all sorts of artistic things and a lot of athletic things. And I don't think my experience is unique in that as you get older, you just move away from some of those things because now your responsibilities start to creep in, and life just becomes about getting from one paycheck to the next or taking care of one responsibility to the next. And over time, I was just like, well, what happened? What happened to all the drawing and the painting? What happened to the poetry? What happened to all these things? And I used to love to be on stage. And so what I had been doing on the East Coast was I was trying to leverage my work environment to be the place where I would scratch that itch. So I was always doing public speaking within my work environment. And then when I moved out here and I'm working at Microsoft, it's a huge place. You don't get to hold the microphone very often there unless you're like some big executive, or it's just you're a tiny fish in this enormous pond. And so I kind of resigned myself for a little while. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to get to do my public speaking that I do at work in this environment. And so at some point I decided I'm going to put myself on stage outside of work. And part of this was my daughter, who was 7 at the time, telling me, like, giving me a push. And that's a whole story I could tell you. But so a 7-year-old baby girl gave me a push, and I signed up for a stand-up comedy workshop.
Okay.
And after a month of the workshop, you got to go on stage and start telling jokes.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I caught the bug. I was like, oh, this was great. Like, the lead up to it felt like I was going to throw up. But when I actually got on stage, I was so happy and so delighted. And just to be back on stage thrilled me. And so stand-up comedy kind of just like opened up a whole bunch of other stuff for me. Because once I started doing that, then people at work were like, come do some hosting and stuff for us. We see you out there doing your thing. Now it became easier in my work environment to get back on stage. But I also I don't know, it really led to me doing a lot more performance type things. I was narrating a concert for an opera singer, and it's just, it really unlocked a lot of stuff. And it reminded me of how good it felt to make myself proud outside of a work environment.
And you just wanted to come here to try to upstage me for all the wonderful things you're doing that I'm not doing.
I'm here to inspire.
Listen, life
and
be
delight.
Life, and and you made such a good point, because I went through the same thing where I was always like the entertainer, right? Out of my friends and family, and sometimes it got me in trouble, but I was always the entertainer and the one trying to make sure everyone else was enjoying themselves, having a good time, comfortable. And I think sometimes as adults we get into this mode of, okay, I'm an adult, doesn't mean I can have fun anymore. You know, without saying it, you kind of like withdraw from certain things and certain interests, because you feel like, well, but I gotta put all these things there, this is my priorities, and you don't really think about the the balancing that you should be doing, because I always say if you put 100% of your energy in one area, all the other areas aren't going to get, if they don't get any attention, right? So I went a long time of not doing all the things that I would normally do. And then I got to a point, and this was probably a few years before COVID, when it like really hit me. And then COVID really, I was like, man, why am I not doing more things that I really want to do or I love doing? Why not? Mm-hmm. And so I'm a big advocate of mental health. Mm-hmm. And I think that mental health is so important because it really makes you step back and say, okay, what about me? Am I okay?
Am I okay?
I think there was a stigma in our community for so long that mental health means someone has mental problems or they're crazy. You know what I mean? Not just like, are you doing all right? You good? You just need a day to yourself? You just want to draw? You want to write? You want to, laugh, watch an old movie, whatever. And I think that's important that we do more of what makes us happy.
Yeah.
As long as you're not disrespecting nobody or putting hands on anybody, just do what makes you happy, because, man, life's so short. And if you think about all the people that you come across and you say, hey, have you talked to someone? So, oh, no, they passed. And, we're not to that point where it's like, oh, they died of old age. You're like, dang, that's crazy. Yeah. So I always try to think about anytime you think of somebody, how they're doing, reach out, or at least try. You know what I'm saying? So
one of the things that I've been doing in the last several years is teaching these self-discovery workshops and helping people unlock some of the things that would delight them. And one of the first questions I ask in the workshop is inspired by a poet named Alok. And the question is, what part of yourself did you destroy to survive in this world? And it's really meant to get people thinking about, is there something that I am holding back, squashing, because I think I have to. I think I have to do that because that's how I make it. I don't listen to this part of myself because this is how I get accepted here, or this is how I gain efficiency here. Like whatever thing is, whatever you think you need to do to survive, what part of you did you kind of trade in or quiet or mute in order to survive, or what you think is survival? And that usually gets people thinking about a lot of stuff they put on a shelf that would make them happy, or it seemed like it didn't have a purpose in this particular life that they're living.
Or because someone else didn't see their vision, so they thought their vision wasn't as important.
Or someone else would be disappointed in you for caring about a thing or being a certain thing. And it's I said today on Instagram, I was like, I hope you disappoint the right people today.
I saw that. That was dope. I saw that.
I'm just like, disappoint them and be yourself and be who you need to be. If you want to sit at the edge of some water and blow some bubbles today because that would just tickle you, go do it. Go do it.
Man, can you be my therapist? I probably can't afford you, but man, no, that makes so much sense. And I have to point out, those shoes are really dope.
Thank you. You know, I try.
You do a little something, right?
I do a little something.
Between the teaching, mothering, modeling, all that stuff that you stand up, comedian.
I do all my stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to wear this life out before it's over.
Yeah. No regrets. And plus you're setting that example for your daughter. You just have one daughter?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're setting that example for your daughter. You're not just preaching, you're actually walking the walk. So I think that's dope.
Thank you.
Hey, Black Seattle.
Hey.
So how did you come up? First of all, how did you come up with the title?
Wow. I'm going to try to go back to when it all kicked off, because the whole Hey Black Seattle thing it's very much, it's a multi-meaning phrase, because it is very much a hey, it's like a greeting. Hey Black Seattle. I truly, if you see me on the street, some people can attest that I will say to people, hey fellow Black person, and then they always laugh, but I'm like, I love a good hey how you doing? But also it is a I see you affirmation. It's like, hey,
right,
hey Black Seattle, look at what you're doing. People act like they don't see you over here. I like see that. You. And then it's also like a conversation starter where it's like, hey,
Mm-hmm. Yes. Come on now.
Hey, Black Seattle.
Even that nod.
We kind of need to have a chat.
Yeah.
And so that is why I loved when it came to me. I loved the multifaceted nature of how it could be taken. But in general, it is just meant to be friendly and warm and like, hey, y'all. Yeah. I'm a Southerner inside, but a person who very much sees and appreciates the Black people who are around me in this place I call home now. So I'm just like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
People say we don't speak to each other on the street out here. Well, that won't be me and the people who rock the Hey Black Seattle gear. We are loud with the hey.
Yeah. And like I always tell people, just in case they don't know, I'm not against getting gifts when people want to come to the show. So, I mean, she mentioned the Hey Seattle gear. I didn't see any when she came in, but that's another story. Yeah.
I'm reserving it to see how the interview goes.
I'm trying to merch shame you. Yeah.
See if I get grilled.
Okay. That's what's up. Now, what did Miss Pamela think when you told her you had this idea for Hey Black Seattle?
She's been super supportive. Like, my mom has rode with me on a lot of creative ventures, and I think she has learned to just kind of go with it now because she has seen me do a lot. I've had a personal chef business. I have, when I started doing comedy, it's kind of like, what you doing? And then especially leaving Microsoft was a big deal. And so my mom has rode a lot of waves with me, and I think she's learned to trust my instincts. So she's been cheering with me the whole way on Hey Black Seattle.
A lot of prayer.
She gets it, and she knows why it's happening, and she knows my heart about it. And so that's what she was calling about this morning before we sat down. She was like, I see you just got to 4,000 followers on Instagram on Hey Black Seattle. I just wanted to, I'm like, oh, mama. So my mom is really excited about this.
When are you flying her up here?
My mama hates planes. She hates planes. And so when she does decide to get on the plane to get out here, I already know, like, I have some things that I need her to, my first stop, I'm going to take her to Fats.
Yes.
Because I think that as my Louisiana rooted mom, them shrimp and grits would get her right. And she'll be like, okay, Seattle.
Then we can have her sitting where you're sitting. I can interview her.
Telling all my business.
Yeah, of course. Mama, no.
You ain't getting that shirt, David.
Come on now. I see. Damn, why did I tell you what I was going to do?
Diabolical plans.
I should have got the gear first. Damn it. Hey, Black Seattle, what was the response that you got when you told, like, your closest friends and family what you wanted to do? Now, I know Mama Pamela is going to support you regardless, but what was the rest of your family? Were they like, what in the hell is this girl talking about? Or you were just in Microsoft, you doing this and that, you in some place called Bellevue? Like, what is this Hey Black Seattle thing? Was it hard for you to explain your vision?
In the beginning, for like my closest friends and family, I think they had been following this evolution, because when I first left Microsoft, that was 2 years before I started working on Hey Black Seattle. I was an independent MC host, just being a creative, earning off of my own ideas and enterprising, just doing all that for 2 years. So people had seen me being able to survive off of the things that I dream up. And by the time Hey Black Seattle came up, I think that a lot of my closest friends and family, they were just like, bet, it's you. It's probably you thought this through. And I would sit with people and really just explain to them what I was thinking. And by the time I explained it, especially if the person was Black and had lived here, they were like, thank you for doing that. And that was really encouraging to get the immediate response of people being like, that's a great idea. It seems really simple. I'm glad that you figured that you can give time to this. It really I got pushed from inside to take steps with Hey Black Seattle after you were talking about people passing, after a good friend of mine passed. A friend of mine named Mary, who lives in Brooklyn, and she passed last April. And it was just one of those things where I started to feel even more just connected to the types of conversations that Mary and I used to have. And she was very much about our people, our artistry, and us living the way that our hearts tell us to live. And so I just was feeling extra connected to her when she passed. And I was like, I'm about to go even harder on connecting to the art community here in Seattle, the Black arts community specifically. And so as I started doing that for myself and doing my searches of like, where are the places that I need to be connected to, I got this urge and this message that said, if you do that for yourself, you actually can do that for everybody else too. You have the capability and the background to actually like gather data about a whole bunch of stuff and help other Black people in the region connect to their stuff as well. And so the very next day after I had those thoughts, I talked to, it was like maybe a group of 4 or 5 friends, and I was just lit up and happy and glowing because it came to me like purpose work.
You knew you were on to something.
It was just like, you have to do this.
Yeah.
You have to do this. And by the time I was telling people about it, I was so glowing and happy that it was almost like you couldn't help but be excited for me, because they were just like, we're really happy to see where this goes. And that was June of last year. And I just put my head down. I was like, I'm gonna just work. Yeah. This ain't about, oh, let me just start telling everybody because I want them to know. This is really like, let me start talking to people to make sure I build something that people actually, that it works and that honors this excuse me, this desire that I have to connect us to our stuff.
Yeah, that was a nice segue. You said connect.
Hey, we are very mission aligned.
Yes.
That's another reason why I'm like, you say watch the show. I'm like, I got to go back and watch more, because exactly what you do is like the visual conversation form of what I'm hoping to do with this online hub.
Yeah.
It's like exposing people to each other.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And I know what you're talking about as far as the work before the actual project, starts to get its legs. This is a idea that I had for a couple years now, and I didn't want to just have something where I'm just talking to be talking or just about random stuff, because for some people that works, and I think there's a lot of platforms out there where people do that, but I kind of wanted to show the diversity in our community and show how dope we are. And
that we are.
Yes, we are. And not always wait for someone else to tell our stories and not do it right. Or half-ass it, or tell our stories in a way where it feels like they think they're doing us a favor.
Yeah.
So, I thought about it and I said, look, we're so dope as a people. I love giving us our flowers, or some people say cigars or what have you. I love giving people their credit while they're still here, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, there's nothing that we can't do. I said on another episode, I said, Black women are superheroes, right? and I mean that for real, because there's nothing that they can't do. I think there's nothing that our people can't do, and we have been doing since the world started. And I think it's beyond time for us to be the ones who's controlling the narrative, us to be the ones telling our stories.
Yeah.
I think what you're doing, you're going to inspire someone that you're never going to meet. But the impact that you're going to have on them is going to be, that's going to last forever. And that's going to be passed on to someone else and someone else. And I really believe that what your purpose is. You were on to something and it made sense and you had the passion behind it, and you kept having all these things happen to tell you, keep going, keep going. No, this is for you. Keep going. And I think no matter how things work out, you can say, I gave everything I could. No regrets.
Yeah.
Because you never want to be that person who sits back and always says, well, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have done that. You want your actions to outweigh I wish. You could say, you know what? I tried this. It didn't work out, but I went for it. I'm sorry.
You're so on. No, but you said about 3 things. I'm like, man, I want to talk about that and that.
Yeah.
But about purpose. Yeah. You're very right. I feel like I'm living on purpose right now and I've never been more obedient to a message than I'm being right now. The message came through really clear. It said, people are supposed to meet because of you. There's a reason that I have so many different Renaissance woman interests, and I know a lot of people in different spaces. Most of the people I know from the comedy world don't know any of the people that I've met in the painting and photography world. Or there's so many different groups of people that I meet because of my varied interest, and because of the way that I have worked in even corporate America. All the jobs that I've ever had have been this kind of hub person. I was a partnership negotiator for Microsoft. So my whole job was to help people hear each other and make an agreement. And then when I left Microsoft, I became an event MC as my primary work. I'm in the hub, connecting speakers, facilitators, audience members in this one place, and I'm facilitating their understanding of each other in the middle. And so to get that message that said people are supposed to meet because of you, that clears the way for me to just be like, I know what I'm supposed to do. This ain't about me. This is about the people who connect to each other, and their lives are made better because now they have the person in their life that they needed to make their existence a little bit more pleasant, joyful, less painful, whatever that might be. And so every time somebody tells me, thank you for something as simple as thank you for sharing that list on Instagram, because now I know about a thing that I didn't know about yesterday. I'm just like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I am doing what I was told I was supposed to do.
And please keep doing it. That's your superpower. That's what I was talking about. Come on now.
I'm trying out here.
Let the melanin shine. Got the locks on. Okay.
You know.
Looking good, man. I got you.
Impeccable artistry.
Yes.
The dope Felicia. She is amazing.
Okay.
Takes care of my hair. Shout her out. That's the girl. Every time I go there, I feel like she's a lucky charm. Something good happens to me after I get my hair retwisted by Felicia.
Okay. What's the name of her? Does she have
It's Impeccable Artistry. If you look her up on Instagram.
Okay. See, I just gave her a plug.
Hey.
See, that's what I do,
on
man.
purpose. You mentioned the hair. I was like, I'm about to tell you who did it.
Yeah. Hey, Black Seattle, we stay connected.
Hey.
Like, I'll throw that out there. So what can people expect on Hey Black Seattle? Break it down.
Yes. So Hey Black Seattle at the core is a database of Black people, be it community organizations, artists, businesses, Black people who are doing things that are meant to serve our community. Or so whether you're an organization that has a Black youth program, I want that organization to be listed on heyblackseattle.com so that the mom who's out here looking for something for her kids can go to that website and search youth programs, and you come up as an option for her. Because what the situation is we're very spread out in the geography that we're living in. I'm counting Seattle. I'm using Seattle, but it's a hub for this greater Puget Sound area.
Right.
We're talking Snohomish, Kitsap, Pierce, and King County is what I'm trying to cover here. And we're very spread out. But there's 350,000 Black people who could be better connected in that. So when that mom is looking for that youth program, I'm hoping she can find it on Hey Black Seattle. So that's what you can expect, is an ever-growing database of our stuff and ways that you can connect with things that will make your Black life beautiful. There are many things beyond the database on the site. It's going to take time for them to fill and become robust. So there is a shared community calendar. So any organization or artist or business who decides to get the level 2 profile, you can promote things to the community, like events on the calendar. You can promote jobs to the community in case you want to hire and people want to find somewhere Black to work or somewhere Black friendly to work. When you say give people their flowers, there's a feature on the site called Black Love Notes, where people who are registered on the site can leave Black love notes to the organizations and the people who have helped make their life better. People who you have worked with, or people who you've sent your kids to their program and it's gone well, tell them, give them their flowers publicly. So you leave them a Black love note on Hey Black Seattle. And there's media projects that are coming. And all these things have to be phased out, but there's a community archive of photos. So people might have seen me running around with my camera and my t-shirt on, because I'm just capturing images of Black life here. Just not necessarily only what's happening as the main event, but the people in the audience, the people who organized it. I love when I see people hug. I run to try to get that picture of Black people hugging, because I want us to have this archive of what it was like to live here, at least in the time that I got a chance to see us, because it's very visual. I want us to see us And so you can never say we aren't here, because I'm trying to just like, here we go. Look at us.
Yep. Here's the proof.
Look at all these pictures of Black people hugging. So those are the types of things that you'll find on HeyBlackSeattle.com. The hub of it is the information about who Black and doing what. That's what I like to tell people. Who Black and doing what. And that's on the website. And then you have all these bells and whistles of the jobs, the events, the Black Love Notes, and the media archive.
Okay. And the merch.
Yes, and the merch. And I would love, if I see people on the street in this shirt, I'm going to act a fool. It hasn't happened yet. I just now see people online where I accidentally just run into somebody wearing one of these Hey Black Seattle shirts. But if I see somebody on the street, it's going to be a whole party on the sidewalk.
See, now if I would have had mine, then we could have had an instant party. But no, it's all right.
We'll see.
I'm just a host trying to connect people and
steps.
It's all right.
We going to get there.
Yeah?
We going to get there.
Oh, Hey Black Seattle.
Hey.
Yeah. That's dope. So I know you have a lot of events coming up. I have the pleasure of being involved in one of them.
Yes,
just wanted to say that.
Yes.
Hey Black Seattle. But can you please let the people at home know how they can stay in the loop of Hey Black Seattle? I just like saying that. And let them know, what everything you have going on or how they can be involved themselves. So let them know.
All right. Well, I'm glad you brought up the events.
Yes.
If everything goes well, we'll have monthly meetups where we just create an opportunity, really casual, for Black folks to meet other Black folks here. So I'm going to have a couple of folks who will share a little bit of history about the area before you enjoy some information about local Black businesses and organizations in the area. So check out the event section on HeyBlackSeattle.com to see when our next meetup is. And please follow us on Instagram. That's where you'll catch my bite-sized list of things that I am sharing with the community about who's Black and doing what out here, and sign up for the newsletter on the website. And that's how you'll, also catch news from me. But the main thing I need people to do is create an account on HeyBlackSeattle.com. That is the main way that you will support this work and make it possible for the work to actually exist and continue and be well maintained. Make an account on HeyBlackSeattle.com.
And any other shout outs you want to give?
Shout outs. It's really hard because I've met so many people. And so I just really want to shout out the folks who have been encouraging me in this work in the beginning. And I don't want to leave people out, but it's just been like, the first person that has come to mind right now is Sophia Haddix. Like, she came to mind. Takia Ward came to mind. She's very inspiring as a person, as an artist. Speaking of artists, on the website, on the HeyBlackSeattle.com website, when you go to the homepage, you'll see art. That art is a mural created by Myron Curry, Seattleite.
He was on the show too. Sorry, keep going.
So these people inspire me. My favorite place in Seattle, I'll just keep going, is Art Noir.
David Jackson. Seattle Connected.
Art Noir, Jasmine and Miss Vivian really inspire my heart. I go there and I think about and I see the manifestation of just like us. It's a space where we're claiming our space in a historic part of the city, highlighting multiple Black makers of products, highlighting Black artists. Art Noir is a physical embodiment and reminder to me of what's possible with a life and how you can use your purpose and your intentions and your creativity to amplify a community. And so you will often find me on that corner hanging out at Art Noir.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I could keep going, but it would be too much. Again, I am so inspired by the creativity of Black people in Seattle because a lot of people here create the thing that they see is needed. It's you don't just kind of come here and plug in. You can. There's a lot to plug into if you know about it. But I do see so many people with the ability to birth things, and it's so inspiring to me.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kiesha. This has been awesome. I've learned a lot, and that's a good thing. We can always keep learning. There's always so much to learn, and I'm glad that you created this safe space for us where we know we have a voice and we will be heard.
Yes.
And we're using our voices to connect other people and let them know, what is possible. And I love how you mentioned people can go on there and leave a note And that's really cool. We need more of that.
Yes.
You know, we got to keep it going on because, you know, who doesn't love love, right?
I feel like we're overdue for some extra love in this region for Black people.
Yeah.
It's time for love.
You need a hug?
You want a hug?
You need a hug?
Oh.
I want a hug. I like hugs. Hey, Black Seattle.
Hey.
Yeah. So, this has been fun. Thank you so much for taking time. And any way I can support you, let me know. I got your back. You know, if we don't take care of our own, we can't blame others. You know, we got to just, if we want it done right, we got to do it ourselves, right?
Amen. I hope to see your listing on the site then very soon.
Of course you will. I got you. Hey, Black Seattle.
Hey.
And hey, everyone at home, thank you for watching. As always, like I said, it's important to take care of others, but please make sure you take time to take care of yourself. Until next time, stay connected. Peace.